What's up guys, welcome to Film and TV Reviews. Today I am reviewing Daredevil Season 3, and in short, it's really good. If you like Daredevil Season 1, you'll like this. If you were disappointed by Daredevil Season 2, you'll like this. It follows on from the Defenders and primarily the first season of Daredevil. It doesn't reference the second season much at all. So if you haven't caught up with all of the Marvel TV shows, not entirely necessary. But I would recommend you watch the Defenders, or at least know what happens in the Defenders. But basically, Matt's in a dark place. He's turning back to religion. He's going on about his origins a bit more and about how his upbringing has affected who he is now. He's really conflicted about where he is in life and what he's going to do moving forward. And that's one of the best things about this season, is that the characters are really in a tough spot. They don't really know how to move forward anymore. And this season brings back Wilson Fisk, also known as Kingpin. And that's the big moving plot point of this season, in that Daredevil put Wilson Fisk behind bars, but hey, he's back. I'm not going to say what happens in this season with Kingpin, because that's getting into spoiler territory. I do think you need to experience it, because it's really well done. There are twists and turns throughout the story. There's a strong thriller element to this season. There are twists and turns, like I've mentioned. There are big action sequences. It's very much a character-driven season, more than it is about story and events and plot details. You really do delve into Matt Murdock versus Daredevil, and there's even a flashback episode focusing on Karen Page, which I think is actually the worst episode of the season, because it feels forced in. Not that the flashbacks are bad, it's just you've got like half an hour of the first half of the episode is all flashback, and then like 15 minutes is back to what's actually going on. I feel like if the flashbacks were separated and split apart a bit more, it would have worked better. Whereas the way it's presented, that one episode really loses some momentum for me. This season it deals with things like morals, ethics, and religion. It does a really good job of it. It really delves into them at times. Sometimes it doesn't quite go as far as it should. It doesn't always have a stance with what it's wanting to say. It doesn't want to say if religion's good or bad. It kind of leaves that up to you, which is kind of a good thing. Moving on to the characters a bit more though. The best thing about this season is Wilson Fisk, also known as Kingpin. As far as I'm concerned, Vincent D'Onofrio has now cemented himself as one of the greatest comic book superhero villains ever. He's right up there with Heath Ledger version of the Joker and Josh Brolin's Thanos. Maybe even higher. It's a really brilliant, nuanced performance. He has this presence that's really intimidating, but we all know there's a side of him that's much more subdued and calm. He's quite a quiet person when he wants to be, but because of his size, because of his figure, there is a really intimidating presence whenever he's on screen. Also this season we get him in the iconic Kingpin suit, which is great, but he never really wears it properly because he doesn't button up the top button, and he doesn't wear a tie either. That's just a little annoying nagging point which really bugged me a little, but yeah. Can't fault him as this character, he's brilliant. There are some new characters this season, one played by Jay Ali. He's the FBI agent. You can totally see where his storyline is going to go. His storyline is very predictable, but his performance is great. It really makes up for how predictable things are going to be for his character. He doesn't feel unnecessary, he doesn't feel forced in. He's a really likable new character, and that's good because this season spends so much time focusing on him. There are other characters. You get a new nun. I'm not going to say who she is, that is a big spoiler, but she's alright. It does take a while to figure out who she is and what her role is, although I must admit towards the end of the season her role does fizzle out a bit. There's a big revelation about her character, and from that point onwards she just doesn't really do much, which is a little disappointing, but I'm sure she'll be around more if this gets picked up for a fourth season, which might not happen, I don't know. One of the big additions this season is Bullseye. So Bullseye has never been the most well-developed or interesting characters in the Marvel Universe. He's often just depicted as a psychopathic expert killer. This season has a new unique take on him. He's an FBI agent, which is different. He doesn't have the Colin Farrell tattoo of a bullseye on his forehead, thank God. He's much more realistic. We delve into his backstory a bit more. We find out why he's loose and why he's got mental problems and what exactly is going on in his head. You can really tell at times that he's struggling with what he should be doing versus what he is doing. But it's a really good performance. I really like how they utilized his powers, and they never go into saying, oh, he's got this superpower where he just hits a target no matter what. It's treated much more as, oh, he's just got this really unnatural skill where he's able to like throw like a pen off a wall, it'll rebound and then hit someone in the head, killing them. And the displays of his abilities are really well done. There's a cool action sequence like halfway through the season between him and Daredevil, which really utilizes his powers really well. And speaking of the action, let's get into the production side of things. Visually, this is a really beautiful, stunning show. I like the lighting, I like the cinematography. The action scenes this season are brilliant. There's one 10-minute sequence, which is all one long take in a prison. It starts off an action sequence in a medical room. It then goes into corridors. Halfway through, there's then this dramatic conversation. And then it goes into a big riot / escape scene where there's smoke going off, there's doors opening, there's people fighting in the background, there's sets and props being destroyed. There's lots of loud noises, sirens and screams and everything. Lots of moving parts, but it's all one single take, and it's really, really impressive. And it's, of course, trying to top what they've done in the previous seasons. The hallway fight in season 1. Then there's a prison sequence in season 2 as well, which was really good, but it was the Punisher doing that. And I think this does top it, because it's brilliant. The action scenes this season are, on the whole, just brilliant. Some of the best action in any superhero TV show ever, and I think they've got some of the best stunt performers, some of the best choreography, and it may be because it has got a bigger budget than some of the other superhero TV shows out there. To wrap this up, I think Daredevil Season 3 is really, really good. It's definitely on par with the first season. It's probably better than Season 2. I liked Season 2 for the most part. I liked all the stuff with the Punisher, then all the stuff with Elektra went a bit too comic booky for me. But I think now Daredevil has cemented itself as the best comic book TV show on right now. I think it's certainly up there as one of the best. And yeah, I do really recommend it if you like this genre. Even if you don't like comic book shows, if you don't like superhero shows, this one is very grounded, very realistic, very gritty. You could totally watch it as just a thriller about a guy who wants to be a vigilante. But yeah, I do recommend it. It's really good. Go watch it. But that's the end of my review. I'm Grant Burton. I hope you've enjoyed it. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @_Grant Burton. In the meantime, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, gave me a thumbs up, and left a comment and some feedback down below. But that's all I've got. I like Daredevil Season 3. Hopefully there's more. It's looking a little uncertain at this point with the cancellation of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Thanks for watching.